do you remember the first RLC event that you did? What was that experience like?
Oh gosh, I do remember. Okay, so it was in Lower East Side. So I'm not familiar with that neighborhood, and anytime I go somewhere new, I get a little stressed. So I take the subway there, I go to Google Maps, and it was like one of these like fried chicken joints. It was a restaurant, right? And so I show up, and there's about 4 of us, and so we're waiting for the lead rescuer, and so we're like, oh yeah, and we're introducing us to each other, and saying, oh, where are you from? What are you doing? And so it's like, okay, great. And so then the restaurateur, the owner, comes over and says, okay, so we have all of these donations for you, and they're like these big tin trays, right? So there's 4 of us, we each have 2 trays, like pretty big, and we're trolling through Chinatown trying to get to one of our partners. And so it was really interesting and fun because like everyone's like staring at us on the streets, and then in my head I'm like, there's got to be a more efficient way. Like, what if we had a cart, right? So per person we don't have to like physically right carry it. But I was lucky because I got the lightest load, right? So but that was my very first RLC event.
Awesome.
Yeah. When I first started with RLC, 4 years ago, I had a couple of discussions with Robert, and he, shared his own background. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of resonating points, and so we're both Korean American, so, your parents come in like with nothing, and you don't know the system. There's no like food stamps, there's no medical insurance. And so you're basically left to your own devices. And so every month, like paying the rent was hard, and whatever leftover there was, we go to the grocery market and so on and so forth. So one of the key tenets of RLC, of Rescuing Leftover Cuisine, is like figuring out the waste problem, right? And when you grow up in that kind of very challenging, where like just very limited resources, like you just don't waste, right? And that is something that is just so ingrained as you grow up. And obviously by now I'm obviously much more financially secure and so on, but that just basic fundamental value of not wasting is just like so ingrained and entrenched in myself. And that's what I believe Robert also felt as well. Like there's so much that could be wasted that is not now because of our deliberate efforts. I will say that, you do these events, and it's like, okay, I do a lot. So then it's like, okay, point A to point B, point A to point B, I'm getting some exercise and so on. But then at the end of the day, it's a very humbling experience, right? And it really makes me grounded in terms of like gratitude. I mean, gosh, we're in November, and this is the month of gratitude, right? And, but yeah, in terms of just really appreciating for what I have and not taking anything for granted. I mean, what I see on the streets, and when we go to these the shelters, gosh, I mean, for me, that personally, it's just like, wow, I really do appreciate and don't take for granted any of what I have. So that's a really big, a personal lesson that I have for myself.
What would you want to say to people to get them involved with RLC?
Gosh, it's take a look at the website. Think about how you can make a difference. Like you literally can make a difference. You can do an event, and you can rescue food, and you can provide meals, X number of meals that would have otherwise gone to waste. And I mean, that's pretty profound, right? I mean, let's say if you have 30 minutes to spare on the weekend, 45 minutes, whatever it is, right? Everyone can help. Everyone can make a difference, and I would encourage everyone to just take a look and be open-minded, and whatever you can do would really can help. So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think that's it, right?